This speech will be on music education in our schools. So I took a music and childhood course at Temple my third semester of a music education major. And the reasons why you need education in the school are all linked to your cognitive development. Not every child is a visual, audible, hands-on, kinesthetic, whatever, learner. So you have to direct your learning to all four of those parts, because if you don't, then you're not going to ever reach every child in your classroom. So the reason that music helps that is because it opens up, you have a left side of your brain and a right side of your brain. The left side deals with basically your core subjects: reading, writing, math, history, anything in your core, in your high school, elementary, middle school education. But music and art open up your right side of the brain, which makes you creative and able to solve problems in more than one way. So when I was in middle school, high school, I don't think it really clicked in elementary school, but whenever I was really active in the arts, I found that in math class, I made a better connection to things that I learned in algebra, geometry, anything pre-calculus. And then when I got to trigonometry and calculus, I was like, oh, but this relates to algebra that I did in 6th grade, because this is how it connects and this is how I'm going to solve this problem. Even though it wasn't the way that the teacher told me how to solve it, there was more than one way to solve that problem. And I really think that it's because of the arts that happened for me. And here's why. Because when I took this music education in the music and childhood course, this woman came on Skype and told us about how when an infant is in the mother's womb, they can hear everything. And they did this whole study. They stuck like a microphone up in the mother, and they recorded what the baby could hear in the womb, and it was so cool. You could hear everything perfectly clear. And the difference between babies when they were in the womb not listening to any music or any singing, any playing, anything artsy, to a baby that listened to classical music, the baby was more relaxed in the womb. And then when they came out, they furthered the study when they were in these, you know how when they're in their cribs after the mother has them, they monitored these babies, and the babies that listened to the classical music whenever they were in the womb took better to nursing. It was crazy, because they already had that from the point that the baby is even conceived. Even if they don't have music, your heartbeat has a constant tempo. So even from the point that you're conceived, you're exposed to these musical concepts. So from the point that you're a baby, music helps you learn better. When I got to Walnut Street Christian School, we sang and danced, and there was a song for everything. In history class, I remember learning this song to the 50 states. The only reason I ever remembered those 50 states was because we learned the song in alphabetical order. And then for the test. And there were different things that made you learn these things, but patterns always helped me more than like memorizing a full page of information, because I have a musical background, so I hardly ever have to study for anything, because I always remember things photographically and I connect the patterns and everything. But I really think that this is because of music. And I was in this Mommy and Me program at Temple, and in Center City, Philadelphia, actually, and these mothers would bring their children in, and we would be moving to like a steady beat to this song in a circle, and the kids think they're just having a great old time, but they're really learning these, like, the sense of routine, because every Saturday they would come back and we would do the same thing every Saturday. But you use word associations. Like, there was this one song that we would do, it was called The Grand Old Duke of York. I don't know if you guys know that. It's really old. But
I'm not really old.
But you take the baby and you say, when you're up, and when you're down, because when you're up, you're always up, and when you're down, you're down. So the baby's grasping that concept already, that this is up and this is down, because the mother's like bringing them up and down. And then when we would walk in a circle, the baby's understanding that this is the circle. And when we would put the toys away, we would say, okay, or we would sing a song. It was like, scarves away, time to put your scarves away. And so there was a song that went with, now we're going to clean up. Now we're going to do this. Now we're going to do this. So all these things just really help these children open up. And the studies show that these kids that are exposed to these things when they're younger do better all academically, and their SAT scores are at least 100 points higher because music relates to all of these different things. I mean, you think about it, you sing a song, it's your poem. And you try to read music and it's math. You know, there's so many different things. And then whenever you try to take a song and you analyze it, you have to find out when that piece was written, by what composer, and what was going on at that time, because odds are it related to, you know, if a song was composed when the Depression was going on, it probably has something to do with the Depression. And then you have to put yourself in those shoes and try to recapture that moment. So these are why music should be in the schools. And not just, the first places that they trim are elementary schools, and honestly, I think I'd rather them trim from the high school, because these basics are supposed to be in a child's mind. In high school, you almost know what you're going to do. When I got to high school, I knew what I was going to do. I guess not everybody knows what they're going to do when they get there, but I think if they have this already grasped in their minds, then they'll be able to figure out these things easier for themselves. And that's why I think it should be in the schools.
Excellent. Hey, I learned the preamble to the Constitution from Schoolhouse Rock.